like when I was, a little kid in here. You're right.
Okay, we're good to go.
Good. All right. Go ahead and call our special meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It's 4:11.
Testing.
Say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members are present in person except Mr. Trotline, who is en route and will join us. Begin this evening with our local school improvement council presentation.
We'll introduce the folks that we have. We're just going to keep bouncing up here. I think there's a list of questions that you guys are wanting us to answer, so we'll just bounce up here one or two at a time. Go for it. First, we have Mrs. Lisa Knotts, our lovely assistant principal. We have Regina Kraft, a kindergarten teacher, Jamie Smith, a counselor, and Jesse Dials, CIS teacher. Before we get going, I was just talking to Missy just now. She was asking about the needs, and I think that's one of the questions that I began. We don't really have any needs. I know these people will agree with me. Well, we have some needs, but we would like to say thank you all because we get, despite the budgeting issues, and everybody knows how the budgeting has been going in the state, we get everything that we need and most of what we want. And that's, so we would like to say thank you guys for that. So we'll get started with our questions. I think Jesse's first, and then we'll just go right down the line, make it short and sweet.
Hello.
How are you all?
Good.
Good. If you look at your handout, it shows the progression of our chronically absent student rate. Of course, 2022 is 26.47. We're down to 17.3.
Fantastic.
Thank you. We think so as well. I think a lot of that is attributed to, that's our main focus, I feel like, here as a whole. Making meaningful contact home to parent, guardian, whether that's call, text, email, home visit. And it's taken a long time to build that relationship with them, to make them comfortable to come to us, for us to reach out to them, make sure their needs are met so they can get to school, I think. We also have a lot of tier 1 supports that we have in place, as well as tier 2 and 3, but tier 1 would really hit hard. We started with a new attendance incentive this year, and it was our potato head attendance challenge. I don't know if you've heard about that. Miss Terry Lynn kind of told us about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have perfect attendance, and tardies do count, so everybody has to be there in a seat on time, you get a piece of the potato head, we put it on. And we were encouraging the teachers to have fun with it, name your potato head, make it a big deal. And so we did that this year, and I feel like that's helped. And the incentives got bigger. We tried to do inflatables or something along those lines, make it exciting. And then the check-ins, we do a lot of. We did move from check-ins with students in the red. I'll say this year we focused more on going to the yellow. So instead of just honing in on the chronically absent students already, we've started moving toward the kids who are showing the signs and working with them as well. I think it's helped. So at least in my eyes, I feel like it's helped out. So, but those are formal. I try to do formal check-in with all of our chronically absent students at least once a month. And then the informal check-ins, those happen a lot more frequently. So, gosh, I want to say once every week, once every 2 weeks. And that can look like a lot of different things. The formal is conducted in a private environment, and then the informal could be playground, hallway, lunchtime, whenever we see them, those things. So they know that they can come to us and for anything, and we'll be there and try to help out, so. yeah. Any questions?
Questions?
That number is.
Yeah, to be below 20% is fantastic.
No, yeah, I was really proud of that.
440.
Yeah, we've got a pretty big school too, so a lot of, yeah, big population.
I noticed the enrollment was going up 20 over last year.
20 students, that's right, that's what I was getting ready to say. Our current enrollment, well, now this was, I don't think that's as of today, that's probably as of one day last week we put all this together, but 414, it's up 20 students from at some point in last year.
Yeah,
So,
one of the highest in the past 3 or 4 years.
yeah. Yes, it's really
Encouraging.
good. It is encouraging. We got a lot of students back from, not homeschool. We got some students coming back that were receiving the Hope Scholarship for various reasons. You know, the parents will call and tell us the reason, and we were getting a lot of students back that were receiving the Hope Scholarship and were taking that money to whatever institution they were going to. So we're getting a lot of those students back. I think that plays a big role in the reason why the enrollment's not up.
If you go down to the bottom third of your paper, we have our results from our general summative assessment for the past 3 years. And that is our proficiency rate. And I'll give you a second to just look over that. It's a lot of information. Very proud of our 4th grade. They had a significant increase all the way across. We noticed our 3rd grade starting to go back up in math a little bit. I'm wondering if 3rd grade, part of our problem wasn't in the ELA. They had narratives last year, and I think that was the first year for the narrative writing. And I'm not sure they all got on the modules and things like that to start writing. So I think that's part of the problem. Stayed equal in 5th grade for ELA, but we need to work on our math 5th. And I think another part of that was we had a new curriculum, math, and as Mr. Hauptfeld and I were talking about it, I think it was pretty obvious we had trouble getting some people on board. Some people embraced it, went with it. You can see 4th grade did. And some people, everybody's on board now, but there was a time trying to get everybody on board, and I think everybody's a lot more comfortable with it now, so hopefully these are going to be going up. And then science, we're slowly increasing there. Do you have any questions about that? On the next page, what we're looking at is our benchmarks. If you'd like to bring your focus over to the proficiency rate, it's the white column all the way closest to the end. And we were comparing like benchmark 1 of last year to benchmark 1 of this year in ELA. And last year they were at 8% in the fall. This year they were at 10%, so we have a 2% increase. For 4th grade, we had a 7% increase, and in 5th grade, we had a 14% increase on our benchmarks for the same time of year for the same test. And then down below is the math. Again, our math, we had a 2% again, and that stayed the same. In 4th grade, it did go down 1%, and the only thing I could think of is where our 4th grade had gone up quite a bit last year, that maybe they're already up there, so that might count for that 1%. And then in 5th grade, they went up 1%.
So with the new curriculum, you feel like you've gotten all the support that you need?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, our curriculum specialists, I mean, they're great. Anytime we call, they'll come in, they'll model, they'll get things, if you need supplies, they're great for that. So I definitely feel like we have the support we need.
I think early on, like she said, the buy-in from some of the teachers was a little, anytime we change curriculum, it takes a little while for someone to buy in. I think early on, that change was a little scary for somebody, but now I think we're seeing ahead.
Perfect.
And sometimes, your veteran teachers are not convinced. And I'm thinking specifically in fourth grade, we had a relatively new teacher, and the only thing she was used to using was that math curriculum. She did fabulous last year, and I think that had a lot to do with it. Plus, that also helped her get everybody in her team on board. So I think that's where you can see it. And then on the next page, you can see the science. We're slowly getting there. We are up 5 percentage points from last year's benchmark in the fall. So it's going up slowly but surely. We have quite a few things that we're working on. We have our teacher leadership groups, like you have across the county, your ELA cadre, your math cadre, our data team. Our walkthroughs, your 10-minute feedback meetings. I find this to be really helpful, just to go in and say, well, I noticed this, what do you think? And it really gets them thinking about things again. Our partner school walkthroughs, I know that's been super helpful with me, especially with walkthroughs, because I can, what did you see? What did you think about this? And here's the way I looked at it. So that has really helped me a lot. And then if it's something I'm not sure, how would you approach that? And they've been really helpful to me on that. Our administrator data meetings and our PLCs, I kind of noticed in the past that, yes, I think our teachers do plan together, but then you hand them an agenda and you say, do this. And it's like they're checking the box. They really just want to be like, okay, got to get that agenda in. I know they're working together. We have teams you can just tell. You go in a classroom, they're all doing the same type of thing. They're at the same place. But when you haven't put it on paper, they're throwing something down to get it out. So last year I thought about it and I thought we need specific agendas. And so that's what I've been doing, going through and making specific agenda and having them turn in examples of, I want concrete examples of where did you do this? How are you using this? I know one was test offered this year. I want to make sure they're using that because I think some of it we have teachers that use it all the time, but we have some that I don't think use it the way they should. And so this way I'm trying to just hold them accountable to make sure that, I can get in there, but I want you to print me off a copy. Show me scores, show me the test, show me something. I want to see where you're doing it. So I think that's helped some this year. And our professional CD and PL days, we do the same type of thing there. We have Kelly, Rhonda, and Tanya. I didn't add that on there, but they've been a great help to us. And another thing we did is we noticed that our special education subgroup was becoming an issue. It was really getting pretty far away from the gen ed peers. And that was going to be a problem. And I spoke with Mr. Hatfield and I said, I really think it's time we need to try to push them back into the classroom. I felt like, and it's nothing against the teachers, they were wonderful, but it seemed like the expectations of the students, they weren't there. And it wasn't the teachers not having the expectations, but then if you see this student not doing it, this student thinks they're getting by with it. And it really, I'm excited to see what's going to happen this year. I can see a big difference in the work and the expectations and how those kids are working in the classroom. I went in and watched one of the students that was in a pull-out classroom last year and a co-teach classroom this year get up and do her little box. They do like a cereal box report. And she comes in, she doesn't have an ounce of nervousness. I know it's the gen ed peers and they're a nervous wreck, and she was just putting it on and doing a whole commercial and all this. And I thought, I am amazed. Sometimes I think they see everybody else do it, they kind of have to do it. And then another thing I'm thinking might help with our third grade is we have interventions this year in third grade. So hopefully that's going to help us get some of those scores back up to where they need to be. Anybody have any questions?
How many interventions do you have?
In third grade?
Yeah.
We have 1.5.
1.5, okay.
We split one with pre-tree.
Okay.
And the last three things here, the disciplinary rates, we've only suspended one student so far this year. We try to stay away from out of school suspension. That number 7, what supports are needed from the board to address these items? Everything that we've spoken about so far, or everything that we're going to speak about, Jesse is tied to that. Our CIS, that CIS position is very important. And I think it's a grant funded position. I don't know how it's funded, but the attendance and everything that we've spoken about is she's affected. She's got her hands into that. So we would like to have that position around for as long as possible. And I don't really we don't know what the plans are, but those positions are very, very important. You know, with boots on the ground, people, she's dealing with these people daily, and it's amazing, and the results are coming in. So if we did have one ask, that would be a huge, those positions have been a huge support for the schools. Facility improvements, we're in line to get a new building, so it is what it is. We'll maintain until we can get that. And we've been doing a good job. Our custodians are great. They do the best they can with the whole building. We'll maintain until we get there.
Is there anything that needs addressed over the next year or so? Any significant problems facilities wise?
No. I spoke to Missy earlier. I don't know if you can see out there. Some people have been parking in the grass. I spoke to Matt today. He's going to come put some posts down through there to keep people from parking in the grass. Other than that, the improvements have made over the last few years. The exterior window film, we've had several, I don't know how many, we've had several new exterior doors. The doors in this place were old, and you could almost push them in if you tried real hard. So we've got several new exterior doors over the last few years. Our custodians got a new floor machine. I've never seen two grown men as happy as those guys were when they brought that thing in. Our camera system, for years we had no camera system here. So over the last 2 or 3 years, we've got new security system. And then hot water was always an issue here. I've been here 9 years, I think, and it's been an issue. That's now taken care of. We're going to do hot water lines all throughout the building. So it's all taken care of. Thank you guys again. At the beginning, I said, we get everything we need and most of what we want. So thank you guys. Any questions?
Yeah, was the drain issue that was in the cafeteria that was backing up, was that taken care of?
It has been taken care of. Now, we were utilizing Roto-Rooter a lot. They came in and flushed it out or jetted it out or whatever it was. Yeah, from the outside of something that we couldn't do. And since then, it has taken care of the issue for the most part. It doesn't back up in there anymore. Occasionally, we'll get something backed up down there in the bathrooms with our custodians and maintenance guys to take care of that. So it's for the most part, it's all taken care of.
Thank you all so much for your great numbers. I know you guys work hard, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's recess now.
I heard one.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Wait.
How are your first and second grade? Still working out well?
Yeah, we speak to others and it's, but we're very lucky. Our first and second grade cats are very good. They're just, in my opinion, they're an additional teacher. And every one of ours are